Okay. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد أيها الإخوة والأخوات السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. It is an honor to come your way tonight to have this lecture tonight, and tonight's halaqah is Q&A about Zakat al-Fitr. It's very important because we are approaching the end of Ramadan, and it is incumbent upon us, it is obligatory upon us to know and have knowledge of Zakat al-Fitr and questions related to the Zakat. So we have some questions here. For those of you watching, if you have any question, you can send to our email, to Masjid's email address, and inshallah ta'ala we'll try to discuss your question. So the first question tonight is, what is Zakat al-Fitr? What is Zakat al-Fitr? Zakat al-Fitr is a type of sadaqah. You call it Zakat al-Fitr or you call it Sadaqat al-Fitr. It is a type of sadaqah which is incumbent, which is obligatory upon every Muslim, young and old, male and female, free or slave. So again, question, what is Zakat al-Fitr? Zakat al-Fitr or Sadaqat al-Fitr is a type of sadaqah which is incumbent on every Muslim, young and old, male and female, free and slave. Of course, we're going to explain the exception, inshallah. So this is Zakat al-Fitr. And Zakat al-Fitr must be paid, must be given out at the end of fasting, at the end of Ramadan, not any other fasting, at the end of Ramadan. In authentic hadith collected by Al-Imam al-Bukhari and Al-Imam Muslim, rahimahumullah, Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma narrated. He said, فرض رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم زكاة الفطر صاعا من تمر أو صاعا من شعير. Explain that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم made obligatory giving صدقة الفطر or زكاة الفطر. صاعا is a صاع, is a measure for the زكاة الفطر. صاعا من تمر, a صاع of dates, أو صاعا من شعير, or صاع of شعير barley. على العبد والحر والذكر والأنثى والصغير والكبير من المسلمين. And this is to explain who have to pay. So this is to explain that the Prophet ﷺ made it obligatory to pay Zakat al-Fitr. Al-Hurr wal-Abd. So Al-Hurr is a person who is free. So it's incumbent al-Abd wal-Hurr. Abd is a slave. Slave will pay Zakat al-Fitr. Al-Hurr, a free person, will pay Zakat al-Fitr. Al-Dhakar, male. Wal-Untha, a female. So male and female will pay Zakat al-Fitr. Was-Saghir wal-Kabir, little person, meaning child, meaning children. Saghir, young. Wal-Kabir, and old. All Zakat is obligatory upon them among the Muslims. وأمر أن تؤدى وأمر بها أن تؤدى قبل خروج الناس إلى المصلى. The Prophet ﷺ obligated that Zakat al-Fitr must be given out before going out to Eid prayer. Before going out to Musalla al-Eid, place, an open area, to the park, to wherever you pray your Eid. So in other words, again, Zakat al-Fitr is a type of sadaqah, a type of zakah, which is different, that you must pay upon completion of fasting. Now, and the Prophet ﷺ explained that explicitly. Now, second question. What is the purpose of Zakat al-Fitr? What's the purpose of Zakat al-Fitr? Like for what? What good is it to give Zakat al-Fitr? What is in this for you when you give Zakat al-Fitr? In authentic narration, the Prophet ﷺ explained the significance of Zakat al-Fitr and the importance of Zakat al-Fitr. The Prophet ﷺ said, طهرة للصائم من اللغو والرفث وطعمة للمساكين. طهرة للصائم من اللغو والرفث وطعمة للمساكين. It is a cleansing and purification, meaning it purifies you who fast. من اللغو والرفث. اللغو والرفث here, الرفث here is not the jima', it's not being intimate, but الرفث from the like vain, like indecent actions and speech. Indecent action. Indecent actions and speeches. So while you're fasting, you might have uttered, you might have said something which is not good. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to say it. So giving Zakat al-Fitr purifies you from indecent talk, indecent acts and speeches. But at the same token, giving Zakat al-Fitr is tu'ma lil masakin, is providing a means for the poor to have meal and to have help, to have support and to have sustenance for the day of Eid. So it's a win-win. It helps you and I to purify us and clean us from our minor sins and minor mistakes, indecent acts and speeches during the time of fasting. But at the same token, it also provides help for the poor to get by and get help and get provision for the day of Eid. Question 3. Who must give zakah? Who must give zakat al-fitr? Well, I explained in the hadith, فرض رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم زكاة الفطر على العبد والحر والذكر والأنثى والصغير والكبير من المسلمين. That the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم enjoined the payment of zakat al-fitr على العبد والحر, upon slave and free man. So everyone, young and old, men or male and female, young and old, male and female, and free and slave. So everyone will pay, but you should be able to afford, should be able to pay. So young and old, male and female, free and slave. Question 4. What is the accurate measurement of zakat al-fitr? What is the accurate measurement of zakat al-fitr? The accurate measurement for zakat al-fitr is صاعا من تمر أو صاعا من شعير. A measure is called صاع. Our parents used to call it Mudd al-Nabi. Mudd al-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a measure which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used in measuring the food to give out as a zakat at the end of fasting. And this mudd, or this sa' is equivalent to almost 3 kilograms. Equivalent to almost 3 kilograms. So you give a date, 3 kilograms of date, 3 kilograms of sha'ir, barley, and so forth. So there are some type of foods that you give out. For example, wheat, raisins, date, corn, maize, rice. But to sum it up, من غالب قوت أهل البلد. من غالب قوت أهل البلد. You give the food that people eat. This is very important line. You have to take into consideration, تأخذ بعين الاعتبار, take into account and take into consideration the family that you give zakat al-fitr to them. Think about this. You have a needy family who don't have nothing, and you give them zakat al-fitr, 3 kilograms of dates, and you know full well that this family are poor, they don't have anything. Think about it. You give them 3 kilograms of dates. Well, alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair, you have done your part, you have given your zakat al-fitr, but if this family don't have anything, it might be a little bit hard for them to get by, especially on the day of Eid. It might be a little bit hard for them to put food on the kitchen table for the children to enjoy on the day of Eid. So take into account, take into consideration what people eat. That's why scholars say min ghalibi quti ahli al-balad. So don't say that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned sa'an min tamr or sa'an min sha'ir. So you only have to go and buy 3 kilograms of date or sha'ir, barley, and so forth. No, there is a leeway and there is a latitude. Al-amru fihi wasi'. So you can buy whatever is in town, whatever people appreciate it, whatever people consider to be the main food of the town. So rice is fine, 3 kilograms, but guess what? If you want to give a little bit more, that is fine. So when I say sa', this is per person. So you are responsible to give Zakat al-Fitr for yourself, for your wife, for your children. If you have some servants under your care, you have to give Zakat al-Fitr on their behalf. If you have parents who are elderly and they live with you, or they live somewhere else, but you are the one providing for them and taking care of them and providing their need and their provisions, then you have to pay Zakat al-Fitr on their behalf as well. So all those under your care. So for each one is a sa'. So it's a math. So you multiply 3 kilograms by the number of the individuals. If it's only you and your wife, sa' times 2, so 6 kilograms. If you have 2 children, plus you and your wife, that is 4 sa'. So it's 3 kilograms multiplied by 4, 3, 4, 12, and so forth. This is very important to know. Now, after you put all this together, can you add a little bit more? Absolutely. Listen, man, this is the month of Ramadan, the month of khairat, the month of generosity. So I urge you and I encourage you to do a little bit more, a little bit better. Can you add some little bit on top of the sa'? Yes, you can. Listen, there are brothers in the community who are very generous. There are sisters in the community who are very generous. So my humble recommendation is that do your best and give more than what you are required to give, and you get more reward. Now, so for those who would like to go with the old-fashioned way, you know what I'm saying? Old-fashioned way is to measure with your full hands. So taking some grains, whether it's corn or maize or raisins and stuff like that, measuring them with full hands 4 times. 1 scoop, 2 scoop, 3, 4 scoops with both hands. That is equivalent to 1 sa'. Again, 4 times with full hands. That's equivalent to 1 sa'. So again, if you have the mudd al-nabi or the measure, which you're going to measure your grains or, the barley or the sha'ir or the wheat and stuff like that, that is fine. So approximately 3 kilograms you have to give in zakat per person. Now, question 5. When is Zakat al-Fitr due? When is it due? Zakat al-Fitr is due on the day of Eid, in the morning. In the hadith I mentioned, collected by Bukhari and Muslim, and narrated by Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, said, وَأَمَرَ بِهَا, and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَأَمَرَ بِهَا أَن تُؤَدَّى قبل خروج الناس إلى المصلى, that the Prophet ﷺ has commanded, has instructed that people give out Zakat al-Fitr before they head out to the Eid prayer. So in the morning. However, it is permissible to give Zakat al-Fitr 1 day before the Eid or 2 days before the Eid. So give it a couple of days before the Eid. It is permissible and it is acceptable. Especially for those who are going to send their Eid overseas. We're going to talk about it as part of the question. So it's permissible to make provision ahead of time. Let it give time ahead of time before the time is due, so that people back home or overseas will have time to prepare themselves and distribute Zakat al-Fitr on time. Now, but the due date or due time is morning on the day of Eid. Question 6. Is it permissible to pay Zakat al-Fitr to the masjid? And is it permissible for the masjid to use the funds of Zakat al-Fitr for masjid operations? So this is combo. Combo means double, 2-in-1 question. Is it permissible to give Zakat al-Fitr to the masjid? The answer is yes, but. Yes, but. Yes, it is permissible to give Zakat al-Fitr to the masjid, but it has to be clear to the masjid that this is Zakat al-Fitr, because Zakat al-Fitr is food. That's what I'm talking about. So you bring your food to the masjid, you bring your date to the masjid, you bring the bag of rice to the masjid, you bring the wheat to the masjid, you bring whatever you want to give in Zakat al-Fitr as food to the masjid. But that's what a lot of masjid don't want it. They will say, well, we don't have storage for the food. You know what I'm saying? But the masjid, they have storage, meaning bank account for the money. But they don't have storage for the food. And I get it. So you're supposed to reach out to the poor. You supposed to reach out to the needy. You're supposed to know who is eligible for Zakat al-Fitr, and you reach out to them. They're doing you a favor by collecting your Zakat al-Fitr. That's why you have to give thanks to Allah and appreciate the family who accept your Zakat al-Fitr. You're not doing no favor to them. Cut it out. Some people, when they give Zakat, it's like, you know what? We give Zakat al-Fitr. We give Zakat. Like, for real? You count this as a favor? No. It's a duty upon you. It's a duty. So you have to appreciate that you have people accepting and collecting your Zakat. It is part of the signs of the end of the world that you will have people, they have a lot of wealth, they have a lot of gold and silver and money. They take it out when they give it in Zakat. They don't have no people to take Zakat from them. A lot of money, a lot of gold, a lot of silver, but there are no poor people to take the Zakat from them. So back to the point. So you can give Zakat al-Fitr to the masjid, but remember, it's food. So the masjid, if they have a facility, they have a storage to hold all this food, to keep all this food, and then the masjid, they have the data. They know the people in the community, they know the needy, so they can reach out and, distribute Zakat al-Fitr to the needy and get it out. So it's yes. But it's no. You cannot give Zakat al-Fitr to the masjid if the masjid is going to keep it. It's like, oh, we cook here every Friday and we do soup kitchen. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to keep this food, a lot of food in the storage so that we can be cooking and ship. No. Can't do that. Masjid cannot do that. It is not allowed, and it's not permissible, and it's not acceptable. Now, can the masjid use the fund of Zakat al-Fitr for masjid operations? The answer is no. So now this is a little bit different right now. People giving money to the masjid to put together Zakat al-Fitr. Can the masjid use the money, the funds, and say that we need some money here for the masjid operations? Can the masjid keep the money? The answer is no. Masjid cannot do that. Cannot keep the money for masjid operations. This is Zakat al-Fitr operation, not masjid operation. Is to be given out to the poor and to the needy. The Prophet ﷺ recommended that we should suffice the needy from going out to the street and asking for help. Let's help them and suffice them, give them enough to keep them out of the street, especially on the day of Eid. Now, so this is about question 6. Give it to the masjid, mean the food masjid will distribute, but if it's money, the masjid will not keep it for masjid operation. Question 7. Who is eligible for Zakat al-Fitr? Who should get it? Who should get it? Who's eligible? The poor people. Al-Fuqara wal-Masakin. The poor people. They are eligible to get Zakat al-Fitr. Well, can we give Zakat al-Fitr to the Imam? The answer is yes and no. You give Zakat al-Fitr to the Imam if you know that the Imam is poor and the Imam is needy. Then it's yes. But it's no. You cannot give Zakat al-Fitr to the Imam because he's the Imam. You know what I'm saying? You can't give Zakat al-Fitr to the Imam because he's the Imam. And, well, let's assume that you give it to him anyway. The Imam should also give it to the needy. That's what it is. Because sometimes people give it to the Imam knowing full well that he knows better. So the Imam should give it out to the needy. He is not qualified for Zakat al-Fitr just because he is the Imam. There is no any special entitlement for Imam for Zakat al-Fitr. So the poor, the Fuqara wal-Masakin. Question 8. Is it permissible to give Zakat al-Fitr in cash? If yes, how much is it? So this is combo, 2-in-1 question. Is it permissible to give Zakat al-Fitr in cash? The answer is yes and no. Okay, so let me go with no first. It is no. It's not permissible to give Zakat al-Fitr in cash. Why? Because during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet would have commanded or recommended, would have told the companions to give cash. There were people who were merchants, who were businessmen during that time. So they had their own currency back in the days. The Prophet could have instructed them, give such amount in zakat, but he didn't say that. He said, you give sa'an min tamr or sa'an min sha'ir. So the bottom line is, Zakat al-Fitr is food, not cash. That's the first part of the answer. No, you give Zakat al-Fitr in cash, in food. However, can you add some cash to the food? I will say, mashallah, ziyadatul khair khairain. If you give a bag of rice, because you do the math, you 3 kilograms, your wife, your children, at the end of the day, it's like, oh, it came up to like 12 kilograms. Maybe 3, 4, 12. 4 family members. So it's 12 kilograms. Can I buy a bag of rice? It's 20 kilograms. Can I buy 20 kilograms of rice? Absolutely. Yes, you can. And you get reward for that. Well, can I add a little bit money on that? Yes, you can. Can I buy some cooking oil and just help the poor? Absolutely, yes. So you have your reward. So, kullu ma'arufin sadaqah. Whatever act of goodness you can do is sadaqah for you. So I'm addressing the question. Can you give in cash? No. The sunnah is to give money. Keep going back and forth. The sunnah is to give food, not cash. But if you want to add some cash to it, Jazakallah khair. May Allah reward you and you have reward for your good deed. Now, if you are sending zakat overseas, can you send money? Yes, you can. You can send money because it's going overseas. And then people back home that you trust, those people can take the money and buy food and distribute. See what I'm saying, right? So at the end of the day, we're talking about distributing food, not giving out cash. So do not let people line up and be giving them, this is my Zakat al-Fitr, giving people money. No, you give food. Don't let them line up. No, you reach out to them. You take the Zakat al-Fitr to them. So when you send money back home or overseas, you have people who will take the money and buy food and distribute. That is Zakat al-Fitr. Now, how much is it? And remember, because I said it is food, so we're not talking about cash. Even though there is an opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa. May Allah have mercy on all the Imams and all the people of knowledge. May Allah help us to follow their suit. May Allah have mercy on all of us. Now, so Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, he has opinion that it is permissible to give Zakat al-Fitr in cash. In cash. Meaning, when you look at, for example, equivalent of 3 kilograms of rice, equivalent in cash, then you give, and so forth. But this will bring a problem, because it's like, the Prophet didn't say that. So that's why you have Jumhur. Majority of the scholars say, you know what, it is what it is. Zakat al-Fitr is not cash, it is food. So let's stick with the Sunnah. Let's stick with the Sunnah. Now, some masajid, some mosques, with all due respect, they posted on their website, Zakat al-Fitr is $10 per person. Zakat al-Fitr is $12 per person. Zakat al-Fitr is $15 per person. Zakat al-Fitr is $20 per person. This is misleading. Isn't right. This is not right. But let me tell you why I'm saying it's not right. I did a survey when I was in the United States of America. And it was a teamwork. We checked different types of, produce which we could give out in Zakat. For example, wheat, dates, corn, maize, rice, barley, and all different food stuff. Equivalent like almost 3 kilograms of each. And we checked the prices of all. Here's the bottom line. We found that some 3 kilograms of produce, meaning some grains, whatever you want to give out, is as low as $2.50. $2.50. Okay, just round it up. Say $3. So now, tells you what? When the masjid post, their advertisement, that Zakat al-Fitr bring money to the masjid. You know what I'm saying? And Zakat al-Fitr is $15 per person. I ask them, where do you get this from? Because it's not right. Because I can go to the store and buy 3 kilograms of whatever I choose to give in Zakat, and it's going to cost me $3 or $5. Why are you advertising for $15 per person? It's like masjid trying to extort money from people. That's not right. So give the people the correct information, min al-kitabi was sunnah, and let them handle their zakat. So again, it's food. Now, is it cash? No. How much do you give in cash? The answer is yours. Check it out. See how much is 3 kilograms of this and this and that. And then you can better advise yourself. You might be giving Zakat al-Fitr $5 per person. And multiply this $5, according to the number of the people you provide for them, or according to the number of people under your care. Now, if you want to give more than that, it's up to you. So that's to explain about this question. Question number 9. Is it permissible to give Zakat al-Fitr to a non-Muslim? To a non-Muslim? Well, it should be very clear that when we finish fasting Ramadan, approaching the Eid, we want to make sure that inshallah all Muslims are happy. We want to make sure that Muslims have something to eat. We want to make sure that no one is left behind and no family will starve, especially on the day of Eid. So, it's very important we look out and reach out to Muslims coming through the month of Ramadan and celebrating the Eid to help each other. Having said that, answer to the question is, can you give Zakat al-Fitr to non-Muslim? The answer is yes. if the non-Muslim is faqir or miskin, is poor. إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين. So we give to the fuqara, whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims. Masakin, whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims. Especially also al-mu'allafatu qulubuhum, to attract the heart of people who are inclined towards Islam, and they are not Muslims, but they are inclined towards Islam. Allah says in the Quran, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين. Al-ayah. Allah Azza wa Jalla does not prohibit you from being kind and generous and reaching out and helping out of folks who are in need of help, especially folk who do not لم يقاتلوكم في الدين, folks who are not at war with you because of your faith, because of your religion, and so forth. So yes, it's permissible to give zakat, al-fitr, to the Muslims, but yes, to also to non-Muslims who are al-fuqara al-masakin, poor and the needy. Now, question 10. Can I delay zakat al-fitr? Can I delay zakat al-fitr? The answer is no. You can't delay. Can't delay. Zakat al-fitr. The Prophet ﷺ commanded we give zakat al-fitr. وَأَمَرَ بِهَا أَن تُؤَدَّى قَبْلَ خُرُوجِ النَّاسِ إِلَى الْمُصَلَّى. The Prophet ﷺ commanded that we give zakat al-fitr before going out to Eid prayer. So you give it on the day of Eid in the morning, or a couple of days, a day before Eid, or 2 days before Eid, but do not delay. Oh, you know, after Eid in a few days, don't delay. And the Prophet ﷺ explained in one hadith, من أداها قبل الصلاة فهي زكاة مقبولة. Whoever pays or gives his zakat al-fitr before the Eid prayer, فهي زكاة مقبولة. It is an acceptable zakah. You call it zakah or you call it sadaqat al-fitr. Zakat al-fitr or sadaqat al-fitr. فهي زكاة مقبولة. It is an acceptable zakah. ومن أداها بعد الصلاة. Whoever gives out his zakah after the Eid prayer, فهي صدقة من الصدقات. The person will get reward as ordinary sadaqah, ordinary charity. In other words, you will not have the same reward for giving zakat al-fitr if you are late. It's not giving it early, meaning in the morning before Eid, or one day or a couple of days before Eid al-Fitr, you have the reward for giving out zakat al-fitr. If you are late after the Eid, or few days after, you still have to pay, still have to give zakah, but you will have a reward just for giving ordinary sadaqah. Question 11. I'm not wealthy. Must I give zakat al-fitr? The answer is yes. You are not wealthy, but yet you should give and you must give zakat al-fitr if you have what you need for the day of Eid and beyond. So you have enough for the day of Eid. Whatever is beyond your need for the day of Eid, then you have to give zakat al-fitr. Got it? You have enough for the day of Eid. Whatever is beyond your need, then you should also give zakat al-fitr. So much so that someone who is poor, we mentioned fuqara and masakin, they are poor and the needy. Fuqara and masakin, they are all poor, but one is in dire need than the other. Miskin is poor, but he has a little bit. But faqir has nothing. And scholars explain that. In Surah Al-Kahf, Allah mentioned in the story about Musa and Khidr alayhim as-salam, وَأَمَّا السَّفِينَةَ فَكَانَتْ لِمَسَاكِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ فِي الْبَحْرِ. وَأَمَّا السَّفِينَةَ فَكَانَتْ لِمَسَاكِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ فِي فَكَانَتْ لِمَسَاكِينَ وَأَمَّا السَّفِينَةَ فَكَانَتْ لِمَسَاكِينَ. Explaining that the safina, it belongs to masakin. They use this, the sheep, as a means of sustenance. You got it? So they have a source of income. So in other words, they have something a little bit. Faqir doesn't have anything. So, but in a nutshell, faqir and miskin, they are all poor. But remember, even the faqir and the miskin, if they have Zakat al-Fitr, more than what they need for the day of Eid, then they also have to reach out and give someone else who doesn't have anything. Next question. Question 12. My parents passed away. Should I give Zakat al-Fitr on their behalf? That's question 12. My parents passed away. Should I give Zakat al-Fitr on their behalf? The answer is no. There is no Zakat al-Fitr, that which is obligatory. There is no required Zakat al-Fitr on the deceased. So parents who pass away, children who pass away, siblings who pass away, spouses who pass away, friends who pass away, Muslims in general who pass away, we are not obligated that we pay Zakat al-Fitr or we give Zakat al-Fitr on their behalf. However, in general, you may give your sadaqah or charity at any given time. At any given time during the year. Not just when it's time for Zakat al-Fitr. No, don't connect this together, because there is no connection. There is no any, correlation. Giving Zakat al-Fitr and bringing the deceased in the equation. No. That is nothing like that. So for those who are deceased, there is no requirement that we pay Zakat al-Fitr on their behalf. It's for us, people who are alive. Now, next question. We have an addition to the family. Should we give Zakat al-Fitr on the newborn? The answer is yes. So Zakat al-Fitr, I mentioned the hadith, that you give Zakat al-Fitr on everybody, على العبد والحر والذكر والأنثى والصغير والكبير من المسلمين. So the newborn is صغير, it's a child. So we count him or her when we give Zakat al-Fitr. We count everyone, including even the servants who work under your care. So the answer is yes. Next question. My wife is pregnant. No, not me. It's a question. My wife is pregnant. Should we give Zakat al-Fitr on the child in the womb? You get it? She's pregnant. She hasn't delivered the child yet. So when we give Zakat al-Fitr, should we count the unborn, the child in the womb? The answer is no. No. We don't count the unborn. We don't count the child in the womb. Well, you don't even know. Maybe it's not one. Maybe it's triplet. Maybe it's quadruple. So, I know that maybe you do ultrasound and they tell you how many you got in the womb. But let's be serious here. You are not required to give zakat on the child in the womb, the unborn. No. It's people who are out, and the child who is out, the little baby, little infant, yes. But the child in the womb, no. It was stated that Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu, he used to give Zakat al-Fitr, so much so he used to even give Zakat al-Fitr on the child in the womb, the unborn. We said, Jazakallah khair, may Allah reward him for doing khair, for doing good, but it is not required. Now, the next question. Is it permissible to send Zakat al-Fitr overseas? So the answer is Yes, it is permissible to send Zakat al-Fitr overseas. And remember, I talked about it earlier. Send the funds, send the money overseas, and get someone on the ground to receive the money and buy food stuff and distribute to the needy. So the answer is yes, if there is a need overseas. However, and this is very important, we have people in our neighborhood. We have people in the community. We have people right here in the hood. We have people in our own backyard. We have people in our city. We have people in town who are needy, who are poor. Should we kind of neglect them and send money overseas? No. So we have to take care of our own. We have to make sure that those here are maintained, are provided for, are taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Before we send Zakat al-Fitr overseas. So yes, we may send it overseas, you know, إذا دعت الحاجة, if there is a dire need, you know, to help especially people in refugee camps and other places and stuff like that. I get it. But if we have people here, we have to make sure that we take care of them. Next question. Due to COVID-19, coronavirus, we might not pray Eid prayer in a congregation as we used to. Here's the question. Does it matter if I delay Zakat al-Fitr? Yeah, it matters. Yep, it matters. So the answer is, it matters. Do not delay Zakat al-Fitr, period. So I get the question. It's like, because there is no Eid prayer, we're not going to go to Eid prayer in the park. So like, can I just wait? There is no need for rush. There is a need for rush. Because Eid prayer is Eid prayer. Now, even if we are not going out, it's still Eid time and it's still Eid prayer. So do not delay. If you delay, you will miss out the reward of Zakat al-Fitr. You will not get the Zakat, the reward for Zakat al-Fitr. You will only get the Zakat, the reward for Sadaqah. So make sure that you do due diligence. Next question. What kind of food is preferred for Zakat al-Fitr? من غالب قوت أهل البلد. Give food that people eat. We know what people eat. We know it. So I'm not going to tell you which type of food is preferred. No, I'm not going to do that. But you know better. Now that I'm speaking right now, there are people somewhere in a distant place, not only here in Canada, but there might be some people somewhere. Their food stuff might be different. Their preferred food might be different. So it is not right. It ain't right, and it's not fair for me to put the preferred food in one box and say this is it. So it's not my way or the highway. So the answer to the question is that look at your locality, look at your jurisdiction, look at the people in your town, but most importantly, take into consideration, take into account the family which you give the food to, and you see what they need, see what they want. So, but there is a leeway. It is not to put all the food in one type of food, but من غالب قوت أهل البلد. Whatever people eat and you want to give zakat, back in the days, people used to give tamr, date. You know, as Zakat al-Fitr, people used to give sha'ir, barley. So you can still do that if you deem it necessary that people or the family that you give Zakat al-Fitr to them, oh, they love aswadin. You know what I'm saying? They love aswadin. It's at-tamr wal-ma. They love to eat date. Oh man, they snack date. They eat date in the morning, they eat date in the afternoon, they eat date in the evening. They have some espresso that they take, drink espresso with date, snacking date. Well, mashallah. So you know better, so you have the answers. So I'm saying this to say that if they eat date all the time and have some water on the side, ma'asukhni, hot water on the side and stuff like that, hey, so the call is yours. Min ghalibi quti ahli al-balad. Give the food that majority of the people eat. So next question here is, what is the difference between Zakat al-Fitr and Zakat al-Mal? Well, this is B. So I'm just going to sum it up. The difference is that Zakat al-Fitr is food. That's why I keep coming back and emphasizing. Zakat al-Fitr is food. That's the sunnah. So don't let it go. Don't let it go. In other words, practice the sunnah, maintain the sunnah, emphasize on the sunnah, practice the sunnah, and you will have reward for maintaining and practicing the sunnah. So Zakat al-Fitr, it is food. Now, and it is obligatory upon everybody. I mentioned the hadith عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال فرض رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم زكاة الفطر صاعا من تمر أو صاعا من شعير على العبد والحر والذكر والأنثى والصغير والكبير من المسلمين وأمر بها أن تؤدى قبل خروج الناس إلى المصلى. So it's important to get it. So you give Zakat al-Fitr in food. That's Zakat al-Fitr. And it's obligatory upon everybody. You don't have to wait to be a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Before you give zakat. You know, I'm poor. I'm just waiting. You know, someone will put a label. Hey, Zakat al-Fitr is here. Bring your zakat here. No, it's not that. Because if you have enough for the day of Eid, you also have to give. So the poor will have to give to the poorer, and so forth. And the poorer who gets it will give to the poorest. So everyone will have a little bit to eat on the day of Eid. So that is about the Zakat al-Fitr. To expand the relief, to expand our outreach, to expand our zakat, so much so that even those folks who used to be on the roadside to ask for fi sabilillah, ask for help, so much so that they're not going to be on the street on the day of Eid, because they have enough to sustain them. Primarily, we're talking about the day of Eid. Now, Zakatul Mal is for people who are wealthy. So back to Zakatul Fitr, you don't have to be wealthy. You have enough. And again, Zakatul Fitr, parents or the one who is responsible for his family will pay for himself, for his wife, for the children, for the parents under his care, for the servants under his care, and so forth. Now, but Zakatul Mal is zakat for those who have wealth, those who have money, and they meet the condition for Zakatul Mal. They have at least the threshold. There is the minimum threshold for the gold and for the silver. And of course, cash would be calculated on the same basis of gold and silver. And that is the first condition, nisab, to have the minimum threshold. And then also, the second condition for Zakatul Mal is hawalan al-hawl, to have this wealth with you one whole year. And then, when you pay Zakatul Mal, you don't pay Zakatul Mal on all of your family members and all those under your care. No, you have the wealth, you pay the zakat, and that's it. That's what it is. You pay 2.5% if you have the Zakatul Mal. Now we have other types of zakat. That's different topic at different time, for those who have livestock, and how many cows you have to have before you give the zakat, how many of the sheep and the camels and so forth. It's a different topic of zakat. And those who have farms and agriculture, how much in terms of quantity, they have to have, as Allah says, وَآتُوا حَقَّهُ يَوْمَ حَصَادِهِ. You give on the day that you yield, the day you have all the crops, you give zakat that day. So there are conditions to explain about that. And also, even if you have farm, is it man-made irrigation? In other words, you have to provide your means of irrigation, or you have free of charge rain coming from the sama, to water your farm and so forth. So I'm saying this in a nutshell to say that there is a lot of ways to explain about zakatul mal. So in a nutshell, zakatul fitr is food after completion the fasting of Ramadan. But zakatul mal has to do with wealth and with the money that you have and so forth. So that's, in a nutshell, the difference between zakatul fitr and zakatul mal. Now, another question about zakat. So would you assume zakatul fitr from your paycheck? Well, I just answered it. Zakatul fitr, if you have enough for what you need for yourself and for your family, in terms of food, in terms of sustenance on the day of Eid, whatever is beyond that, make sure that you give food. And I already explained the sa', the measure, that is the sa' per person is almost 3 kilograms. That is 4, handful. And that's handful means 2 hands together. The whole grains 4 times is equivalent to 1 sa'. And that's how some of the parents used to measure, for those who didn't have the Mudd al-Nabi, the measure of the Prophet ﷺ. Another question here. Okay, so I think that's all what we have for now. Jazakumullah khair for all of your time. May Allah reward you and be generous and reach out to the families in need. And last reminder to you all. We have ways and means to donate to the masjid. This is very important. We have ways and means to donate to the masjid. PayPal, e-pay, e-payment. Inshallah ta'ala, go to our website and be generous to the masjid. And I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to accept our salah, accept our siyam, accept our dua, accept our good deeds. May Allah Azza wa Jalla relieve us from calamities and ordeals and get us through this COVID-19 coronavirus. May Allah Azza wa Jalla join all of us together in Jannah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.